Hey man.
Hey man.
What
So,
a day.
take two.
Yeah, this is we live streamed this podcast.
Yeah.
The live stream was in Discord only
This was yesterday.
yesterday, and when we got to the end of the live stream, well, the live stream cut out, as anyone watching it will have noticed.
Yeah.
And that was because the laptop that we were streaming off overheated, died, and what we didn't notice at the time is that entire recording was corrupt.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Sucks. This is so bad. That laptop was bought specifically for content, for like live streaming content, recording at the same time. But it is what it is. We live and we learn. So we're basically going to talk about almost the same stuff
Yeah.
as yesterday with a couple new things. Yeah, I'm actually quite fun. Like I love recording this show. Like
Yeah.
I think it's fun. So if we
Super
get to do
chill.
it again, you know.
I don't have tea. I did have tea yesterday, I promise.
Yeah.
But today I've cheated. I have coffee.
What do you have?
I have a latte from
Okay.
Costa. They
Classic.
now know my order in there.
Do they?
There's a Costa right across from our office, and both the Costa and the Starbucks. There are certain employees in there who
Yeah.
do know my order now.
Really?
Sometimes I like to catch them on guard and say, actually, no, I don't want a medium. I want a large. They're like, what?
Do Greg's know your order?
No, I must admit, I've been going to Greg's not very often recently.
Really?
This morning I went for the first time in a long time.
Mm.
I'm sorry, I just don't like their coffee.
Yeah, it's not a premium cup of coffee.
Yeah.
It's well, I mean, it's from a machine. It's cheaper, but it's not a premium cup of coffee.
Yeah. I like watching them make it as well.
Yeah.
That's
It's quite
kinda nice.
Satisfying. I've gone kind of original. We need to get some new teas because it's
Yeah, we
like
do.
the third podcast in a row where I've had this tea. It's a clean matcha green.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good choice.
It's absolutely
Actually,
splendid.
Must admit, even though we've only got like 3 or 4 teas in the cupboard,
Yeah.
I actually like most of them.
Yeah, I think these clean teas that are like either floral or they're not really fruity. They're like floral. They
Yeah.
like what's the smell word? What's that?
Aromatic.
Aromatic. Yeah, floral aromatic teas. It's very hard not to at least enjoy them.
Yeah.
It's just a cup of tea, man.
It really is. Dude,
Yeah.
there's loads going on.
There is loads going on. Just before we dive into that, if you are new here, welcome to the GPT Podcast. This is the podcast where we talk about AI, the future of technology, where all of this crazy software stuff is taking the world, while we drink tea. But in this case, you've got a coffee.
I've got a coffee.
So it's GPT, but GP coffee in this instance. This is episode... Well, there's debatable what episode this is.
Yes.
So this is episode 8 coming out live on platforms. It's actually episode 9, but episode 8, it's like episode 8.5 turbo. Episode 8 was live streamed to the Discord, which was going to be posted, but it corrupted.
Yeah.
So let's just say
Is what
this
it
is
is.
episode 8.
Dude,
What's going on?
weirdly, the metaverse is back.
Yeah,
So
it is.
Apple, for the first time since the Apple Watch, have announced a significant, what they call a major new product category.
Yeah.
Apple Vision Pro. They just looked at Meta and thought, we want to do that.
You want a slice of that pie?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
love Meta. Let's copy them.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was their mindset.
This is raw capitalism. Meta are clearly capturing some sort of market. They're capturing some corner of the world that it's not really a corner. Quite a lot of people enjoy VR and really do believe in the metaverse going far. We are pro, I would say. We are pro extended reality and mixed reality
Oh, yeah,
being
definitely.
very much part of the
look,
future.
Look what's in the middle of us.
Look what's in the middle of us, yeah.
Yeah.
And so capitalism says, I want to have a slice of that pie.
Yeah.
Apple join the race.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of things going on. So first of all, the device is super interesting.
Yeah.
So like my first impressions on the device are it's bulkier than it needs to be, and it's very Apple, but at this time it's come at maybe a trade-off with comfort. And they're like already starting to market this thing, even though it's a year out, as a very comfortable device. Like we've put the battery in your pocket, that kind of thing. But the reality is this thing is made out of glass and metal. It's going to be very heavy on your head. A lot of the reviews I'm seeing trickling through on YouTube at the moment of like the tech reporters that are getting to wear it and things, they're all saying it's quite heavy.
Yeah.
And it's leaving marks on their face. I mean, to be honest, so does the Quest. I don't mind the marks on the face, but the weight, I definitely do mind.
Yeah. without a shadow of a doubt. And they are, I've not seen anybody say that they've been able to spend more than half an hour with it. MKBHD spent half an hour with the Quest Pro. And if he's walking away and being like, damn, that's a heavy headset, and also they're getting marks on their face from half an hour of usage. I mean, you do get it from the Quest 2, but it's supposedly a fair amount heavier than the Quest 2.
Yeah.
And the Quest 2 is already not very comfortable because it's very front heavy. It's a heavy device in general. It's front heavy right here. This device is also front heavy. So there are some other headsets like the Pico, which you got the opportunity to see early, which is super awesome. They have the battery on the back, right?
Yeah.
So at least balances the weight.
Yeah. So they have, I believe it had a battery strap.
Right.
The Pico was interesting. So the Pico is like a much lower price tag.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very lightweight headset. It's
How much is it?
So it's about the same price as a Quest 2.
Right. Okay.
So I think around $400.
Okay.
Give or take. And it's a really nice headset. But the problem with the Pico that really surprised me was ecosystem. I actually want an ecosystem because the VR world, and Apple, I would say, is not actually going after VR.
No.
But the VR world specifically is very small. There are loads of games, but there aren't many compared to like other mainstream consoles and things like that, especially not something like Steam.
Yeah.
And so you want the close-knit ecosystem because you want to be able to like share the games and share those experiences, and you don't want to have to build for multiple platforms. So the Pico was kind of impressive. The thing that blew me away was that it was very lightweight and comfortable. But this Apple Pro headset is like a different beast. And we are now actually in a fortunate position because we're recording this a day later. Apple have been at WWDC. It lasts a whole week.
Yeah.
And it's like a bunch of developer conferences and a bunch of different talks. And they've been talking a little bit about how developers are going to build for this world now.
Yeah.
One of the key things they've been talking about is that they see a lot of this technology and a lot of the software that's written for this technology to be very 2D based, which is slightly weird. So we're talking about like panels that float in front of you.
Yeah.
So almost like infinitely big screens or small. Maybe you have 50 of them in front of you. This is very interesting. They have a few concepts. So they have a flat plane, and then they have this thing called a volume, which is a slightly new concept. So imagine a screen floating up in front of you, but certain items on that screen can float out.
Yeah.
That's what they call a volume.
Yeah, and also they track your eye movement and whatever you're looking at, the kind of cursor to know what you're looking at and what you want to click on is the volume, is the 3D effect.
Yeah.
So there was like the photo tile, which was like a little circle with the Photos logo. When you look at it, to show that you are looking at it, it like stretches.
Yeah,
very
exactly, cool. Exactly. And so I'm really interested to see what developers do with it. They also do have wording on their website, in their documentation, and in their like conference material, which is talking about virtual reality. They're not actually using those words.
No,
they're not. Using immersive worlds.
Immersive worlds, spatial computing.
Yes.
They've come up with their own Apple-esque way of describing this tech.
Yeah. But it's almost like they're discouraging full immersion. They see the winner here to be basically augmented reality. It's adding digital assets onto the real world to maintain eye contact, to maintain make sure you're not shutting yourself and isolating yourself from the world or your kids or the pot that's about to boil over. You can see all of that, but it's floating up in front of you, some digital experience. Yeah.
So this is very interesting. So I would not have thought that they would have gone the route of the majority of the experiences that you have in their headset are these like 2D panels, but you see them in 3D space. This is very interesting. I wonder if this is a decision because that's the best way to experience virtual, like spatial computing, as they call it, or whether it's just because this is the format that's familiar with people already. It's what you see on your phone, but it's now just in the air. Just to basically ease people into this technology before they go super 3D stuff, walking, moving, crawling, flying around you.
Yeah.
There are a few things that I found quite quirky about this release and about this product. And it's called into question as to whether this will be Apple's big notable success, like the Vision Pro series going forward? Is this going to be the most successful product that overtakes and supersedes the iPhone? Or is it going to be more of like a HomePod, where a niche few people use it, not really, the price tag is a little bit too high? I'm not sure. So there are a few things pro and con. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Mine, straight off the bat, are the weight. It's very, very clear that one of the biggest problems with excessive, like not excessive, but like long extended use of a VR headset is comfort. This is a very, very big issue. You take a gamer that plays Fortnite for 72 hours, they don't want to spend more than an hour in a headset. And that's mainly a comfort issue. And other teams have been really trying to work on comfort by making them in plastic, putting the battery at the back to balance the head, all of these things. Apple's been like, no, we're going to make this out of metal and glass. It's going to look beautiful. It's going to look like an Apple Watch strapped to your head. But you put it on and you want to take it off after 15 minutes, basically. This was very interesting. This is very much a column in the no for me in particular, because I do not like the idea, especially when it's hot, to have ski goggles heavily strapped to my face where I need to actually do something in them.
Yeah.
But then again, it's Apple. So if anybody's going to change the consumer tone on anything, it's the company that's been doing it for decades.
Yeah, but they can't stop you getting hot.
Can't stop you getting hot.
So
very true.
Yeah, so I mean, well, time will tell on that sort of thing. It's unknown whether there are fans inside the headset. There are holes for fans. I know that MKBHD actually listed that there are holes for the fans, but he couldn't figure out whether there were fans or not. And
they blow into your eyes?
Kind of filter air. So a few VR headsets have this.
Okay.
Because it is a known issue. Yeah, so for me, I'm not too bothered about the weight if the experience is really good, because the battery life is 2 hours anyway. So I think I would naturally regulate to sort of hour-long experiences anyway, through fear of, like, most of the time your battery isn't fully charged and it isn't at 0%. It's somewhere in between. And so realistically, if your headset's been on standby in your backpack or on your desk for the morning, and now it's time to sort of plug into mixed reality, it's going to be at like 30% charge, or it might be at like 70% charge. So you're going to get maybe a good hour of usage out of it, and then it's going to be at like 10-15%. You're going to take it off and you're going to charge it. So it's like, or maybe you plug into the mains and you carry on working, but now you're like tethered to the wall, which is not ideal. But yeah, so my feeling is that the headset is bulky, but it's bulky compared to other VR headsets and other mixed reality devices. Even if you look at HoloLens from Microsoft, or you look at the Meta Quest Pro, these are much more lightweight. And so I think Apple's probably done this intentionally so that they can shave off grams of the headset each year and give an illusion that things are getting lighter and smaller, to let the technology to make the real leaps forward in how light it is and how small it is catch up. So I think we're about 3 years out from having really small technology. And so they can shave off a little bit of this headset every iteration now for 3 years. And hopefully by that time, there'll be a much more compact headset. So we'll see. I mean, what are your thoughts on like making things smaller?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so this product, I feel like, yes, they could potentially be doing that. It could be part of sort of like a plan to keep wowing the public. And if like I am very, very much convinced that Apple do this with different things. However, this product has been in development for years, maybe close to a decade or longer. 5,000. They've said that 5,000 plus patents have been sort of, I don't know what you do with a patent. Written? Registered? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. 5,000 plus patents have been registered for this device. Yet, and this is their big new announcement that's meant to shock and wow the world. Yet it still looks very, very clunky, and it's heavy, and it's, I don't know. I think there are some genuine physics problems with this technology being as small as my glasses right now. So display, this device is still not like you're looking at the actual world. When you see the outside world around you, you're not looking at the actual bricks. you're looking at a display that's recording the bricks in real time and showing it to you.
With a camera.
With a camera, with a camera. And people looking at your eyes, they're not looking at your eyes. There is an internal camera recording your eyes and piping it real time to the person looking out there. So it's still like you're looking at a display and other people are looking at a display. It's still not real. The other thing is that when you've got a phone is pretty much universal. I mean, some people have some hand stuff, but like a phone, if you've got a phone, it's a rectangle and most people in the world can swipe. However, with a headset like this, there are so many different eye problems that are very common. I mean, even us, we will need some sort of insert or something. And for both of us, the angle of refraction is not does not what's the word? Does not corroborate with perfect vision.
Yeah.
And so if you've got a device that is meant to be for everybody, you're not going to really be able to get that because you're going to need to get inserts and all of this stuff. I don't know.
There's some interesting challenges ahead.
There are some very interesting challenges. I see a lot more challenges with this technology than I do for the iPhone. I definitely do.
So that's actually a great, that kind of brings me to this point, which is if there's any company on the planet that's good at making small computers that people want to wear or carry with them, it's Apple. They have this like merge of fashion and high power compute that people love. And they also are very good at software. And so they are the company that will make this work, or they are the company that will conclude the industry. Unless there's a large breakthrough from another company, like if somebody unknown comes out with a super lightweight pair of glasses that gives an Apple Vision Pro experience, but it's tiny, that I think would be a game changer. But I also think they just get acquired by Apple.
Yeah, if it's a startup, it will just get acquired.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. If it's a startup, it will 100% get acquired. Apple will just be like 250 million quid.
Yeah.
You're going to say yes if you're a founder. If it's another company, there might be some corporate wars. I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced. There are other of this technology in the near term being a mass consumer product. So this product is also quite different from the other Apple product range that have done incredibly well. In that the other Apple products that have done very well, I'm wearing 2 of them, very, very mobile. You take your phone everywhere, it's in your pocket. It's basically the most convenient piece of tech you can probably get, this thing. My phone, my watch is always strapped to my wrist. Put it on in the morning, take it off at night. My laptop is always in my bag, even though I'm not walking around and typing on my laptop or my iPad. It's still in my bag. I'm still going to a coffee shop. Then I'm getting on the bus. Then I'm going to, I don't know, coming here, whatever. It's still nimble with me. This product is, they haven't sort of announced some case for it thing, probably sold separately.
It's £500.
Yeah, it's 500 quid. They haven't announced some kind of case. They haven't shown any demos so far of it being like easily transportable. There was like the shot in the airplane, which was a little bit weird, to be honest. It's wired as well. So the battery is external. It's always wired, whether it's in a battery or to the grid, but it's always wired. It's definitely a product that is meant to optimize the experience of sitting at home on your sofa. It seems like that. And maybe Apple, I think Apple is one of the top 3 companies that have the data on how much time people are spending at home. Yeah. We spoke about this yesterday, which is if there are any companies that know how much time you're spending at home, it's like Apple, Amazon, and like Visa and MasterCard, basically. They know that people are spending a lot of time. So it might be the case that Apple are like, okay, tons of people are spending a lot of time at home. They're looking for escapism at home. They're not looking for escapism outside of home, like going to the theater or the cinema. Yeah. They're looking for escapism in home by playing games and watching TV. Yeah. Let's optimize the experience and give everybody the entire world and more on their sofa. Yeah,
like so a few things. So first of all, Meta has this statistic that they like to say, and it is kind of interesting. The first Xbox sold as many units as the Quest 2.
Wow. Interesting.
Well done, Meta.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting stat.
Yeah.
Because we see like consoles as this massive thing compared to the VR industry. But actually, if you look at it from different perspectives, you can see that actually maybe we're just at the beginning of a journey where there are going to be a maybe console level adoption of this technology is not unfeasible. If like everyone has a lot of people have of a certain age bracket, there's a console in your home.
Yeah.
Even I would say like even my grandparents had a console in their home. They were a little quirky, but like
Is it the Wii?
They had a PlayStation 4.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
What
Call
were
of
they playing?
Duty.
Yeah,
For real, dude. For
no
real.
way.
Yeah, man. But like that's what I'm saying. So like if there's
Are they online?
but that's what I'm saying. If there is console level adoption of this technology, it will be a success.
Yeah.
We don't need to achieve iPhone level adoption.
Very true.
Or smartphone level adoption. I think console level adoption would be a success in Apple's eyes and a success in Meta's eyes. So I'm here for console adoption level, where we're not carrying our console around every day. We're not even using it every day. But we do have one, and we do enjoy it. We even have one in the office.
Yeah, it's an important part of people's life. Okay, so I agree. That would be a resounding success. There is one pushback that I have to that, which is the experience of VR blows people away. I've not met somebody. This is not true. Some people put the headset on, immediately feel sick, and they're like, "I never want that experience again."
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And I definitely, if I spend a bit too much time in one, or if I'm playing a game that has weird movement mechanics, or like moving with a joystick for me, makes me feel really, really nauseous, and I need to get out of the environment. But most people that don't immediately get sick, and they're just like in the home lobby, and they're seeing their hands and stuff, they are blown away by this technology, right? It's a totally new platform. However, this product is still being sold at Christmas time. It's been given as presents. People are blown away by the experience. Meta are doing everything that they need to do. They're wowing their customers and their users. But this product is still ending up on the shelf, collecting dust, or even back in the box collecting dust until it's kind of remembered again a year later or 6 months later.
Yeah.
It's wowing people, but still not getting usage. They're having a massive retention problem. With a console, it's a little bit different. There is some form of retention drop, obviously, like any product, but it's the type of product that you get. If you get a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation... What are we on? If we get a PlayStation 5 for a kid now, and they get some games and they love those games, they are wanting to play 12 hours a day every single day. That is... The people that want to spend their entire life in VR is still very, very niche compared to console usage.
Yeah, I wonder whether we... like VR is one thing. I think I can definitely see people spending a long time in AR, where it can be anything from a single screen that's fixed to one wall that's actually digital. It's like replace your TV in your home with some projection because you're all wearing these lightweight glasses. That's like the future. The future dream is that you can have things projected onto your walls. You can have notifications float up in front of you. Super like minimalist. Basically, you're no longer looking at your phone to be like up to date. Things are. I mean, I would turn that feature off, but that would be a cool technology to have.
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to spend a lot of time fully escaping the real world, because I actually think people like the world.
Yeah.
Even despite some of its challenges, I do think people love the ground truth.
Yeah.
And base reality, as Elon says.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Okay, so there are some interesting things that Apple have done, and there's some interesting things that Meta have done.
Okay.
So Meta last week did something that basically confirmed the Apple event. They, on Friday, dropped the price of the Quest 2 by $100.
Yeah.
But they also, everyone was like panicking because they're releasing a Quest 3. They also announced this on Friday. So they're releasing a Quest 3, a brand new headset in the autumn. It was rumored already, but they basically just said, yep, here it is. Here's what it looks like. They didn't release any specs, but they have said, like, this is what we're building. And it has color pass-through, which is basically what Apple's Vision Pro has. So it has AR capability, good AR capability. It has new controllers that are smaller, but it will have gesture control, just like the Quest 2 has, like hand tracking, all of that. And it also has eye tracking, just like the Apple Vision Pro has. So this is a headset that has a lot of the features that Apple have just announced, but at a much smaller price tag. So
what is the price?
The price will be, I think, $499.
Wow. Not 3,499.
So it's $3,000 cheaper
Yeah.
than the Apple headset, and it has like 90% of the features. So this is very interesting. I think people are going to see the Apple headset and go, that looks awesome, but first I'll get a Quest 3.
Yeah. I think this is a very, very smart announcement from Meta, and it could be the case. I mean, it's yet to be seen, but it could be the case that this Apple Vision Pro announcement, and especially when the product is out, drives a crazy amount of sales to Meta specifically, and inadvertently drives their competitor through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, just speaking personally, we have the fortunate ability to be able to get one for work purposes. But like buying personally, I want one of these devices personally as well. I would probably really, really consider the Vision Pro against the Quest 3. And if the Quest 3 can do 85 to 90% of what the Vision Pro would do, I would just get the Quest 3.
Yeah, and so as a developer, okay, so there's another thing that's happening with the Quest 2. On Friday announced, Meta have been very good at supporting the Quest 2 and shipping updates to this thing. It is much better. Like, this is my personal one that we have in between us. When I got that out of the box, it was okay. Now it's very good at certain things. Like the hand tracking is much better. The play area is much more persistent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really small, tiny tweaks they ship, and there's always a new update.
Yeah.
It's really, really lovely. So they shipped an update on Friday. They announced that they're shipping an update that gives you a 20% performance boost on the CPU.
Yeah. This is crazy.
This is amazing because this means like a 1% performance increase. I was saying this on the live stream last night, is massive. A 20% means they've rewritten something drastic to give a performance boost of a headset they announced on the same day they're going to supersede. This is really, really great.
Yeah. This is phenomenal. I'm not sure. Okay, so I have a question for you, which is, we talk about headset comfort and we talk about the experience of VR versus AR. Do you think people would prefer to have an AR experience in a headset like this, of this size and weight, or like the Vision Pro, or a VR experience in this, or to have an AR experience in a very lightweight, very lightweight glasses, or a fully VR experience in lightweight glasses? So inadvertently, my question is, do you think the problem with this technology being used daily and being loved and having people integrate it into their life, do you think it's a problem of the way that we're experiencing the technology, or do you think it's more practical, like it's too heavy right now, it's not light enough right now, it's not fashionable enough right now, I look weird in front of my friends? What do you think the core issue is with this retention?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are getting a lot of things mixed up because these devices are capable of doing multiple things, and so people just mash them into one thing. And a lightweight pair of AR glasses, its objective would be to replace your phone. So it's like a lot of 2D experiences, maybe some games, maybe you can project something onto the coffee table and have a shared holographic experience, something like that. I think that's going to be a raging success if it's lightweight and fashionable and people want to walk around, just like AirPods. Like if we get to that level of small compute, then that will be a winner and everyone will do it. That doesn't necessarily mean that that same device is going to give you the best-in-class immersive VR. And I think with virtual reality, it's a completely different thing because you're talking about escapism. You're talking about ejecting from the real world and going to your favorite place and spending some time there. Even like our Carterverse simulator, we have this like beautiful village, the wind's blowing, everything's like the perfect color. And I just like sitting in the grass and just listening to the birds. It's like
it's
super
beautiful
chill
place
in there. And everyone thinks I'm weird in the office for doing that. But like it's a really nice experience, and that's with current tech. So I think people will in general prefer a lightweight pair of glasses that replaces their phone because people like their phone. So if there's something that is better than that, and you can be less looking down, and you can just sort of take in the world and also get all of the value you get from your phone, then that's going to be a huge success, even if that same technology just projects a phone onto your hand. Like that will be a thing. And so, yeah, I think that will be the winner. But I do also think that VR, fully immersive experiences, will get compact, but they'll never be as compact because of the shape of our heads. This is one of these physics things that we're just never going to get around. Our heads are curved. If you want a VR experience, you need to block the light from the sides of your head. So you're going to at least need those like sunglasses with the side shades. You're going to need that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think everything's just going to get smaller, but the winner will be some sort of mixed reality experience.
Yeah, this is very interesting.
What do you think?
I think this device, this format of device, is very much here to stay. Even if I'm thinking about it right now, if my glasses were capable of if they were capable of giving me a heads-up display of like notifications or an alarm or an event or something that's coming up, I would love that. But if they were the way that I watch all my content on TikTok or whatever, the way that I respond to emails, the way that I write with my voice and stuff, I can think of so many scenarios where it's so much more convenient to have this. If I need to reply to a confidential message, or forget confidential, if I need to reply to some form of like, I don't know, personal message while I'm on the bus, I'm not going to start screaming it out, you know?
Yes.
And also I don't want to have my phone, have technology be able to intercept my vision of life.
Interesting.
Maybe this is like an old school view, and maybe the kids growing up with this technology will feel it, will not be opposed to this whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I like the fact this buzzes in my pocket, and so I know that there is something for me to look at when this buzzes in my pocket.
Yeah.
But I'm very, very religious when it comes to the notifications that I allow on my device.
Yeah, as am I.
Yeah, and I'm also very, very conscious of when I put this on Do Not Disturb. I do think the same thing will be, the same functionality will be built into glasses. But when I'm not on Do Not Disturb, if notifications start just popping into my life, I would feel like I'm not deep enough into the real world. I don't know. That's maybe a personal opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't think currently the solution to a more efficient, convenient, and immersive device than this is having something strapped to your head.
Yeah. Okay. So if you expand the time horizon to like 20 years rather than 3, you can pretty much conclude, especially with the leaps in AI and like engineering, and there's going to be a lot of things that happen in the next 20 years, you can conclude that we will be able to fit a huge amount of compute in a thin frame of glasses. I think that's at least like at a minimum, and I don't think this is 20 years away, I think this is 5 years away. You have a light pair of glasses with a Apple Watch style compute module that just clips to your collar or something like that. That would be, I think a lot of people would be willing to wear that in public, especially if you've got a hoodie on or something, like no one's going to notice it. So at that point, now you have a lightweight pair of glasses that is able to project a thing in front of you or a notification, be super intrusive, but it could go another way. It could be that when you hold your hand out like this, you get a projection of a smartphone, and anything the smartphone can do, a physical smartphone can do, this 3D model of a smartphone can also do. It's exactly the same experience, except it's completely holographic, including typing. And this is where AI and this stuff starts to intersect, because when Meta and also Oculus started on this journey, and when Magic Leap started on this journey, they were a little bit early because computer vision wasn't quite there. And so if you wanted to do hand tracking, it was really awkward. You had to have these like big clunky controllers, and even just using an array of cameras around the headset to track the world had not been invented yet. You had to have cameras in the room to track you wearing the headset.
Yeah.
And so inside-out tracking has been revolutionary. Smartphone development has allowed us to figure out how to get a lot of compute in a small space.
Yeah.
But things like the Apple Watch give me a lot of hope for the future. Now, this headset, the Apple Vision Pro, has 2 processors in it. It has a M2 chip,
Yep.
which is a beefy chip.
Yes.
It also has something on R1 chip. And like an R1 chip, it's designed to just do the compute for the vision stuff. Now, this is probably a winning architecture, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Meta do this as well. It kind of makes sense to have 2 different systems in there. One is handling just the physics of stuff, and one is handling the software and the apps and all of that. So we'll see how that plays out. But like back to my point, now you have AI running on a super powerful processor on a thing that you can at least fit on your head.
Yeah.
That's where we're at 2023, and this AI is getting very efficient. So right now we're thinking about like power, and we're thinking about compute, because the amount of computation needed to be done in a headset is a lot, because you have all of these cameras. Like I said, a lot of data needs to be crunched in milliseconds, because it's your eyes that are taking it in, and if you don't do it fast enough, people feel sick or they fall over.
Yeah.
So allow your mind to wander with the AI stuff for a second. Now we have these super efficient algorithms being developed in a slightly parallel world right now that are very good at tracking hand movements, or predicting what you want, or making search algorithms much faster. Like I literally read something a minute ago. AlphaGo is now able to do sort algorithms 70% faster than the original record. It's like there's these leaps that are happening. And I would not be surprised if the answer to having this technology lightweight, maybe not the display technology, but the compute issues, are solved by AI entirely, where you need maybe like one wide angle camera, because it's able to take in a lot more about the world and understand a lot more about the world. Like one of the biggest, we spoke on a past podcast about Meta's AI research on segment anything. This is an algorithm. You can show any picture, and it can take out any item from that picture and draw like a perfect box around it. This is a really hard compute issue, but it's like pixel perfect. You can literally take apart an image. You can also do it with video. Now imagine that in a headset. Now you're able to like not only project things onto a flat surface, you're able to like occlude things very well. You're able to figure out depth a lot easier. So all of these algorithms are going to get much more compute efficient.
Yeah.
Plus, they're going to help us design better hardware.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually wonder if the solution to having, just like you said, the lightweight glasses is AI. So right now we have these big clunky headsets because we need to record everything around us. We need to section in the vision so that there's not external light coming in from all types of angles. It could be the case that maybe we don't need to capture everything around you. We just need to capture like maybe dead center and then the corners, and then have a very, just a very well-trained model from the future, an AI model from the future, just predict everything else around you. And if it's something that's coming from a corner, or it's something coming dead straight, it can understand your environment, it can understand your trajectory. Yeah. It can understand the trajectory of the object, and kind of come up with a very, very clear prediction on what that thing is. And it's basically no different to just capturing the footage anyway. That could be a great solution. I saw something crazy, actually fairly related to this, which was a video that I saw of a keyboard, or somebody typing on a keyboard. And they weren't a touch typer. So if you don't know what touch typing is, it's basically just like the ability to not have to look at your keyboard. You can just like write and you know where you're clicking.
I can't do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I tried to learn, but I didn't get very good at it. But there was somebody that was typing on a keyboard, and you could see what he was actually typing, like the actual keys that he's pressing, and the actual versus the output of what was being written in the message.
Okay.
And so he was just touch typing. He wasn't a touch typer, but he was going super, super fast, making a ton of spelling mistakes. But an AI model was taking the context of the conversation. Crazy.
What is happening to humanity?
Like,
we forgot how to write.
Yeah, we forgot how to write.
We're forgetting how to type.
Yeah.
Just hit this.
Exactly. Just spam it. And it was taking the context of the conversation, the person that you were talking to, what you had said, like, okay, this word began, it was like TAHL, HGT, that's probably that, because you then said APL, which is probably Apple,
Yeah.
whatever. And it just outputted perfect text. And so
Interesting.
it didn't need to, you didn't need to type in exactly what you wanted. You just needed to give a rough gist. So this could be the same thing with one of these headsets, where typing isn't the typing that we know, where you have to tap every single key. You want to communicate in this headset, you don't need all of these cameras. It can predict the world around you.
Yep.
You don't need to constantly speak and say exactly what you need. It knows what you want already. If you want to correct it, you just do this, and it basically can figure out what you want based on your context.
Yeah.
Seems like the solution to an actual mass consumer use of this product that replaces this is AI.
Yeah, right. And so there's also like a bunch of interesting AI research that I don't think is directly related right now, but I think it will become related in the future. So my favorite thing I've seen in AI, maybe ever, is this research that I think was Stanford, but I can't remember.
Okay.
I'll need to look it up. Where they basically took a very, very, very sensitive camera and they had it watch a crisp packet of a hotel room. Like it was like a hotel room. On the table was a crisp packet.
Okay.
Or whatever. Like maybe it wasn't a hotel room. Maybe it was just a room. And the camera was outside of the room peering in through a window. It could not hear what was going on in the room. And what they did is they trained a model to be able to do voice recognition based on how the crisp packet was vibrating to the audio waves in the room.
Okay.
So the camera is like watching a crisp packet and the model is like transcribing what the people are saying without having any microphone. It's just watching vibrations, tiny, tiny, little tiny vibrations.
Insane.
What the hell? So imagine you say, actually, we can have no external cameras. We're just going to watch the reflection of your environment on your eyeball. And we can use that to track the world.
Yeah.
Something like that will be, and that now if there's 10 out-facing cameras and a LiDAR and all this stuff that's on the Apple Vision Pro right now, and now you go to, actually you only need 2 cameras. You need one looking down for your hands and one looking at your eyeball. That's it.
Yeah.
Now the computer's like, oh, actually maybe you could run that on an Apple Watch.
Yeah. That's insane. When I hear that, the crisp packet, a camera outside of a room being filmed through a window, looking at a crisp packet and being able to transcribe what people are talking about in the room based on the vibrations of the crisp packet.
Yes. It was an experiment. I would just say it wasn't a perfect transcription.
Okay, fine. But right now, forget about AR for a second.
Okay.
Let's talk about spying.
Right, like just straight out of James Bond, right?
Yeah, like right now there are professional lip readers.
Yeah.
So there are people that for a living, they look at a piece of video or even in real time and they lip read what's going on.
Yeah.
If you have the ability to if something is happening in a room, but you don't know what's going on, but you can just see something in the room and then be able to predict what people are talking about in the room.
Yeah. It's going to be crazy, man.
The privacy issues with that are insane.
I don't know.
Imagine?
But it might be that we think that now, but then we figure out like actually, I don't know, the resonant frequency of a crisp packet just isn't enough fidelity for a camera to pick up every word. Or like there's some like physical limit.
Yeah, maybe people just clap while they talk.
Yeah, like if you stomp your feet, does it completely ruin the outcome?
Yeah.
Like there's probably a bunch of things to get around that. Or maybe just don't have anything that's lightweight near a window if you're like whatever the opposite of a spy is. Yeah. But there's some really interesting things going on where basically these algorithms are beginning to do things in a way we just didn't predict. Another one is lip reading, where arguably in a lot of situations now you don't even need a microphone if you can have a camera. By the time this goes out, May will have been released.
Yeah.
So the beta version of May has been released. May is our like AI companion you can talk to in Discord.
Yeah, she's great.
But there's a web UI, which is new and exciting. And this was featured on TikTok before we decided to turn it into like an actual thing. And people loved it so much, we've now turned it into an actual thing. One of the things that I originally built into May was the ability to just see that you are present. It's not face recognition, it's just face detection. It's a very basic algorithm. It can run in a browser in real time very, very quickly. So all it's doing is saying, yes, no, there's a face here.
Yeah.
Now that means you don't need to use a wake word. You can just be in front of your laptop.
Yeah.
And now you can just have an open conversation. And the second you step away, not listening anymore. This sort of like additional context and like really basic algorithms that can actually provide a lot of value, I think are the precursor to something like, now we're going to only use the camera for both speech recognition and vision. We're just going to lip read everything that the Hugh says. Like maybe there will be a lip reading mode in May eventually.
That's very, very interesting.
You could whisper. You could just be silent talking to me.
Yeah.
How cool would that be? Let's build
That's
it.
very interesting. Yeah. That's very, very cool.
So things are getting more efficient as time goes on.
Yeah, I actually think that the physics limitations around VR and AR and these headsets will be surpassed by AI. Like angular refraction is like a big issue for a lot of these devices because people have different eyes.
Right. Yeah.
But that can probably be surpassed by just having an AI model predict the best angular refraction to show you stuff, you personally.
Yeah.
By just looking at your eye. Didn't you say that there was some software being worked on, there was some model being worked on that basically instead of having glasses was just doing a scan of your eye and then showing you a display with slight zoom in places and blur in other places to kind of simulate the fact that you simulate your glasses?
Yeah, so it depends if you have any issues with your eyes, what those issues are. So it's not like VR is the solution to all eye issues, but there are some eye issues that you can basically augment glasses with, which is very exciting. It means you don't have to wear inserts. For most people, that won't be the case. But you can also do things like in kids, I was saying last night on the live thing, was the kids, when they are young, there are certain eye conditions where you need to wear a patch to sort of train one eye's muscles to be a bit stronger.
Yeah.
Because when they grow up, you can't really do that anymore. So you need to do it while you're young. Now, when I was young, I had a patch. And I had to read a book every night with this patch. And I hated it. It was like the worst part of my day. I used to run away. I used to hide the patch. It was like the worst thing. And still wearing glasses.
Didn't work.
Still wearing glasses. It worked. It should have. Anyway. Now, what some people have been doing is just putting kids in VR headsets with one thing turned off. Yeah. And it actually works. And there's a bunch of interesting studies. But yeah, so what you're talking about is like you can warp this perspective. There's also some cool technologies coming out that save on compute power. So Apple Vision Pro has something called foveated rendering.
Right.
What this basically means, I hope I've pronounced that right, but what this basically means is that what you're looking at is perfectly crisp. But everything else in the fully virtual world or the tiles that are floating out in front of you is blurry. And this is how things work in the real world. You look at something and everything else goes out of focus. So traditionally, a VR or AR headset would render everything in a crisp way. And it feels super unnatural. So next time you're in a VR headset, try and look at something close to you, hold your hand up, and you'll see that it's perfectly in focus compared to something really far away. Yeah. And so some games try and do this artificially, but you need to do it on the headset level. So what you can do is you can do a lot of perspective shifting. And you can also do foveated rendering, which means that the thing you're looking at is rendered perfectly. The thing you're looking, everything around it is down-resed. But your brain doesn't care because it's focused on that one thing. Everything else it's basically filling in blanks anyway.
Yeah, I wonder if they drew those lessons from the iPhone camera. Like cinematic mode has all of these like layers to make a really beautiful, crisp picture. They artificially make things blurry and some things focus and add sharpness and stuff.
I mean, there's a deeper, maybe not conspiracy, but Apple has been a rumor and it is now confirmed, has been for years prepping developers specifically for this technology. For years. So there's something called AR Kit. Yeah. This is like a toolkit that coders can use to access the LiDAR sensor on the back of the iPhone. I mean, who have you seen using the LiDAR sensor on the back of your iPhone?
Basically no one.
Basically no one. It's this super accurate sensor. Yeah. It spits out light and the light bounces back and it uses that to map the world. Yeah. There's one on the front. It's used for Face ID.
Yeah.
Very similar concept. Now we see the headset. What's it got? LiDAR.
Yeah.
And on the front of it is Face ID. So they can scan your face and create a 3D model of you. So it's obvious they've been prepping developers for years. And on stage, Apple said, we are going to launch an AR app store, brand new one, with hundreds of thousands of apps in it.
Yeah.
It's because all of the AR apps on the current app store are compatible with this headset because they all run on AR kits.
Yeah, it's when you hear these things and you hear these rumors that circulate, especially on Twitter is a cesspool of these rumors. But
it's just future predictions on my Twitter. Everyone predicting the future.
It makes you feel like Apple are on line 89 of their master plan. And it's like, this has always been in the cards as to where this technology is going to go. Like, the fact that this product, this iPhone product, is and people, specifically people developing for this product, has meant that inadvertently, even if they didn't know it at the time, they've been developing apps for a future app store for a new product release. That's now going to have a massive ramp on for the new platform. I don't know. I think Apple have a secret sauce and they know so much more than anything that we could possibly predict. So our first sort of experience and our first opinion of this new headset is mixed. It's like, it's way more clunky than it needs to be. It's glass and aluminium instead of plastic. It's not comfortable to wear for the people that have tried it on so far. It's got this external battery, all of these things. But it's very clear that they've been prepping for this new product for years.
Yeah.
They've been prepping the developer ecosystem. They released ARKit. I can't remember when. A very long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've clearly been working with Unity for at least a while to make all of the Unity AR sort of experiences compatible with the Vision Pro natively. They've been working on this for a very long time. And they seem to, for me, it seems like they know something about this technology, or they can see a prediction that we can't currently see. Yeah. It could be the case that we experience AR on a daily basis with a Vision Pro, and that's like a mass consumer product. Yeah. That's another success.
I mean, it's called a Vision Pro for a reason.
Yes.
I think they do plan to release a Vision and a Vision SE and. But right now it's a Vision Pro because it's expensive and it's clunky. But if you're a developer and you want to build for this future device, because I fully believe mixed reality is going to be a compute platform, like spatial computing, it's going to be a thing. We just don't know whether it's going to be smartphone level or console level. If you're a developer right now, I was going to say this earlier, get a Quest 3 when it launches. If you can't afford the Vision Pro, which I don't think most people can't afford that, especially just as an experiment. If you want to build AR apps that are going to be compatible with this, I would build stuff in Unity for the Quest 3. It's going to cost you like $500. You can tangibly sort of save up for that device. You can play around with it. Unity's free. Build for that device. Doesn't matter what laptop you have, you can build in Unity for a Quest 3 without any developer restrictions. It's going to cost you a fraction of the cost. And once you're ready and once this technology is mature, anything you've built and anything you've learned will be compatible with the Vision Pro, with whatever Apple puts out, with whatever Google puts out, because this is now going to start to be a standard.
Yeah. We have this saying internally that we've said for a very, very long time now, which is, game developers will be the future's web developers. Now, if you're a Unity developer, forget Unity, if you're a game developer right now and you've got experience of different game engines, your value in the sort of labor market has gone up significantly.
You've been working in spatial computing, you just don't know it.
You've been working in spatial computing. I think a lot more people are going to start experimenting with Unity and Unreal Engine, but more so Unity because Apple's specifically partnering with Unity. I'm quite interested to track the future direction of Unity. I know their stock jumped like crazy.
Yeah.
What happened to Apple's stock from the announcement?
It went down.
Went down?
They didn't have a great WWDC in the stock front.
Right. Do you know how significantly it went down?
No, I don't know. I didn't look at it that close. I just saw the red line.
Yeah,
like,
so I had this, I had this really cynical view, which is it is possible that Apple released this new product because their current reigning best-selling product, the iPhone, has been their best-selling product for more than a decade now. It's been out for like 15, 16 years, whatever. And they're starting to, even though it's still a product that sells like, I don't know, 2 million units every 2 days or whatever. I think that is the number.
Wow.
Yeah, it's insane. That is maybe starting to plateau, or even if it's not starting to plateau, it's just maybe slowly growing. They haven't innovated a new platform, a new product platform in a very, very long time. And so they've got a very, very high valuation. High valuations are only really justified by companies that continue to innovate because their kind of future cash flows are unknown.
Right. Yeah.
If you've got a company that's had a best-selling product for 10 plus years and it's remaining their best-selling product and they're not putting out new things, you can accurately predict future cash flows. Therefore, you can assign a discount rate and you can find out their current value. Whereas if you say, oh, we're launching a new platform that's going to be the future of the world, everybody's going to use this 12 hours a day, you can say, oh, I don't know the value of the company in the future. It could be triple the size it is now, or even more.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna continue this run.
Yeah.
And so it could be the case that they felt that right now is the right time, purely on a public company financial basis, to launch a new platform.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, that's an interesting view. I think Apple are cooking a bunch of different projects internally. They're probably working on a bunch of stuff that
they're working on everything.
And they probably mothballed a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
that would have been a raging success, but they killed it. With this, it's kind of interesting. So if they've been working on this for 7+ years, then they have seen, I think they've seen Oculus just after they got acquired, or maybe just before they got acquired. I can't remember the year they got acquired, but they've seen Meta launch the Quest. They've seen standalone headsets be launched. They've seen Magic Leap rise to the highest funded startup in history and then fall flat on its face trying to achieve the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And despite all of that, they have announced they're going to build the exact same device in 2023 and launched it, which is at the very least very, very ballsy of Apple to do that.
Yeah, I mean they've got the bankroll to be able to do it. I did not think that this was going to be the next Apple product until there were lots of bubbles. I thought it was going to be.
I've been like, it's going to happen, dude. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I knew it was going to. Well, I did think it was going to be a product at some point, but I thought their next big flagship product. Well, this was probably a couple of years ago, but I thought their next big flagship product would be a self-driving car. I think they would have entered the electric car market. I mean, they definitely started developing in like 2020 or 2019 or something like that. One of those eras.
Didn't they try and acquire Tesla?
They tried to acquire Tesla. There were talks. But then they hired 1,000 engineers for a super secret self-driving electric car project overnight. There were like 1,000 engineers working on an electric self-driving car. I don't know if that's going to be announced ever, or whether that's a project that's been mothballed, or they're going to announce it in 5 years or something.
Might announce it in 15 years. Who knows?
Yeah, they might announce it. I don't know. I thought that was going to be the next thing that they did.
Yeah, the other thing is that they have a ridiculous amount of cash. I think they might have more cash in the bank than any other company in history.
I think they've got more cash in the bank than anything in history.
Yes. There has been a very, very good way of spending cash demonstrated by another billionaire in Silicon Valley recently with Meta's Quest, and they're like, excuse the pun, but Quest into the metaverse. Yeah. They've burned I think so far it's $80 billion so far, but they're along the track of burning like 250 billion.
250 is the number,
years, right?
Yeah, the same amount. Chamath said this on the All In. It was like the same amount of funding that went into Apollo is being funded for the Quest.
Yeah, but I now I'm just wondering, like, okay, fine, maybe the metaverse word is. I don't think the metaverse word is going to revive. I saw a bunch of people on Twitter saying like, now metaverse isn't a dirty word. I actually don't believe that. I think it is a dirty word because it's associated with one company. But now everyone's like, is the technology, do we actually need to focus on this? Do we actually need to like pay attention? Is this going to be the future? And I honestly don't think we're going to get the answer for another 5 or 10 years. Because these are such big companies, they can basically subsidize this until the technology is ready.
Yeah, they can. But what's really interesting is that they need to sell you on the fact that this will be the future. For the iPhone product and the other successes from Apple, the iPod Nano was like a crazy success. The other Apple products that have done incredibly well, they organically got picked up by consumers that were just blown away, and organically not organically they sold, but organically the narrative of the product just formulated around. It wasn't so much that Apple needed to sell you that this is going to be the future. With this product and with the Quest and with anybody working in VR, it feels like back in the day, or I say back in the day, a couple of years ago, it felt like a flat Earth movement. It was chief metaverse officers were being hired to do something. People were like, see you in Decentraland and all of this stuff. And people, the whole Web3.
Samsung bought a plot of land in Decentraland, didn't it?
Yeah, for a crazy amount of money. The whole Web3 NFT metaverse stuff was all bundled together. And it seemed like a cult that you had to join. And we're not out of that. We're maybe starting to come out of that because of this release, but we're still very much hungover from that episode, where people are trying to convince you that this is the future. Usually, when that's the case, the data that we have currently on crypto, on blockchain, on Web3, on NFTs, that this is the future, usually it doesn't pan out.
Yeah, I think usually it's an echo of what the future is. But it's like 30% of the full picture. However, we're not at the start line. The start line, I would argue, was October 21, when Meta changed their name.
Meta, okay.
And their like announcement of their new direction was so far out there. Of like, this is what the future's gonna be like. It's gonna be like this fully immersive world, and you're gonna want to be a robot. And that is the thing people will mock. And then I think people will look at maybe Apple's vision just 2 years later. Like, you can see things getting more normal as things get on. They're maturing. Like, actually, avatars kind of suck. We want a photorealistic version of Danny in a FaceTime in AR. That's what makes sense. That's what's cool. There's some interesting things happening. I don't think this industry is dying. Everyone's been saying like VR is dying. I actually disagree. I don't think VR is dying. It's just not smartphones.
It's just smaller.
It's just smaller. And like the VR, just VR, like mixed reality is kind of weird because there aren't many headsets that can do it yet. So there isn't really a community that's big enough to talk about. If you're out there and you're watching this, we would love to talk to you. Come on the podcast. But in terms of virtual reality, I think that's the furthest along. It's the most mature, other than AR. Is virtual reality is kind of at this place where I think it's gonna leave. I think it's gonna stay gaming. I think it's gonna like stay entertainment. And I think that we're just gonna see this departure, basically, where Apple is not talking about gaming at all. So I think we're now going to start seeing this huge division. But there's some very interesting things going on in both industries. Most like down to earth is that the rumor is in the autumn, Roblox is going to come to VR on the Meta Quest. That's very exciting. Roblox is huge and it has millions of players. And they can all ask for a VR headset for Christmas, or they all have one in a drawer. And I think this is what Meta knows. If they keep supporting the Quest 2, when you do see the killer app that makes you want to play it, you can just get your headset out, update it, and it's just as fast as it needs to be to play this new title. Super exciting.
Yeah, pretty much. I honestly, Roblox coming to the Quest is very, very interesting, particularly also because they're a UGC platform. And so Roblox as a platform coming to the Quest means tons of experiences are coming to the Quest, not just some game. That's really exciting. Honestly, dude, my big takeaway is that for me personally, my best form of AR would be just like a projector that I can have a heads-up display. I would
Yeah.
love that. That's one thing. The other thing is for communication with friends, loved ones, or even AI-based entities that become my friends. I can see big use cases. The biggest use cases for AR via mixed reality is communication. How cool would it be to have a FaceTime in AR with, I don't know, your little niece or something, but you can just play catch, or you can play dodgeball or something while you're having a chat, or you can just play Connect 4 or something like that. Currently, you can do that on. There are like house party games and stuff which are clunky and nobody wants to play them. But if you could just have a chat with your mum, catching up, and just every so often just throw a ball at each other, that's
super nice.
It's a very nice experience.
Yeah, and then you've got the whole AI digital friends that.
Then you got the digital friends,
that Carter may also be able to help with.
Yeah, the joy from Blade Runner experience. I'm waiting for that. Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Someone build that, or we're gonna have to. Someone in the Carter community, can you please build that? Otherwise, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I think we might need to do that.
Let's just do it. Let's just build it.
Yeah.
I think this is who knows what the future looks like, dude? I'm super excited. We've managed to stay on one topic for basically the whole episode.
Yeah, we have. I think I'm super spaced out today. There's been so much stuff that's been going on. I'm just like, Apple Vision Pro. Crazy platform.
Thank you so much for watching, guys.
Yes.
It's been amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching. This has been episode 8.5 Turbo of the GPT podcast. See you next time.
See ya.
Ciao. Bye-bye.